Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Team Nigeria actually need the prayers of Nigerians for them to actually win medals at the 2020 Olympic Games. This is actually coming from the Minister of Youth and Sport Development, talking about Sunday Dare. On this note, we welcome you to yet another interesting edition of Sport Orbit right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Olawale Ayeni Anot. Will be on the show alone. I have Alpha also on the show today. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Wale. Nice to be here again. Of
course, the Olympics are started at this point in time. We saw that some games were actually decided earlier today, but we are going to go to those games later. But for now, we head straight to this one that is actually coming from the sports minister, saying that Nigerians should actually pray for the team for them to win a good medal. At this point in time, is it that the sports minister is going spiritual to win medals at the Tokyo 20 Olympic Games? Is it by prayers or is it by the hard works of the athletes?
I mean, it should be by the hard work of the athletes, but I mean, I think this is quite funny because if you know that you've properly prepared your athletes for an event, in the background, then I mean our prayers will all come to naught. But I sure believe that our athletes are well prepared for this competition, and let's hope that we see them on the podium once the games begin.
Of course, let's hope we see them on the podium when the game begins, because we know that about 58 athletes will be representing the nation at the 2020 Olympic Games that in Tokyo, and also Nigeria will be participating in 10 sporting events. Recall that in 2016, Nigeria won just one bronze medal, and that one actually came from the football event that actually saw us winning the first medal in the Olympics since 2008, and that particular one. Any hope of we getting to surpass our last outing of just one golden bronze?
Well, that is the hope and what everybody has been looking forward to, hoping that we surpass, our last outing. I think our
was better than 2012.
Just one bronze.
Of course, 2012 we didn't win any medal. 2008 that was the last time we won a medal at the Olympics. But at this point in time, just a bronze medal in the last one. We hope
that's good enough. Not good enough
for the kind of caliber of athletes we have in our arsenal when the games actually begin proper. But at this point in time, all hands should be on deck. The players and the athletes should be motivated.
Absolutely.
For them to actually deliver the goods at the start of the Olympics. Still talking about the Olympics, one man is coming out to say that I want to play my best at table tennis in Tokyo. This is coming from Olajide Omotayo, who will be making his debut at the 2020 table tennis in Tokyo. Do you see that happening?
I mean, he couldn't have said it any better. Athletes look forward to platforms like the Olympics to really, show the stuff they are made of. So, I mean, if he is not going to play his best tennis at the Tokyo Olympics. So I mean, this is the best chance he has, to really show the stuff he's made of. This is his first major outing, and it will do his career himself. And take his game to the next level.
Of course, according to him, he said, I feel happy and at the same time very proud of myself for qualifying for my first Olympic Games, because I have always wanted to achieve this dream, and as long as God made it happen. At this point in time, we know the likes of Funke Oshonaike, this is his 7th Olympics. The likes of Shagun Turiola also has participated in about 5-6 Olympics thereabouts, and he's hoping to actually reach that feat. Do you see him getting to reach that feat? Because we know he's a very young lad at this point in time.
To do 7 Olympics,
of course.
Well, it's possible. I mean, everything is possible, but that will still depend on how he performs in this Olympic. I mean, this is his first Olympics. And it will do him a lot of good to really go out there and put in his best. If he goes out there and put in his best, I mean, when the next Olympic come around, it will be easier for him. And of course, like you said, he's very young. If he's able to stay in top shape, expand his skill set, I think he should be able to, participate in so many other Olympics going forward.
Of course, if you are in good shape, you'll be able to train very hard. You should be in the next subsequent Olympics are going forward. From there, we're still talking about the Olympic Games, where the first ever event of the Tokyo Olympic Games gets on the way. A softball matches take place 2 days before the opening ceremony. Japan is taking Chile 2-0. Japan defeated Canada. Japan and Canada actually drew 1-1. China also lost to Brazil 5-0. Zambia were the whipping women's team in the first round of the games. They were actually defeated by Netherlands 10-3 in that particular one. That was the heaviest defeat. While Sweden women's team actually edged the #1 rated team in the world, talking about the United States of America, 3-0. Of the result stands out for you, Alpha?
I mean, the Zambian result, losing by such scandalously. I mean, when you start hearing this kind of scorelines, you begin to wonder what kinds of preparations were put in by these teams before. I mean, for them to have gained qualification for the women's event, it means they were among the best teams in Africa to qualify. So, I mean, if one of the best teams in Africa will go out there and lose 10-3. Come on, Africa needs to do better. I mean, this is starting on a really very, very bad note, I must say.
What about the world champions? They were edged, they were defeated by a certain Swedish team. We know that the Swedish team are very technical.
No doubt. No doubt in women's football. I mean, they are evenly matched. I must confess, the Swedish and the US women's soccer team are evenly matched. So it's not really a surprising scoreline for me. If I must confess, Sweden have won, the Women's World Cup in the past. They parade some of the best players in the women game, same as the US. So, I mean, they are evenly matched.
The youth side are very, very
yes,
among one of the
exactly,
best
exactly. Even when it comes to their female football league, Sweden has one of the best female football leagues in the world. So,
and they have actually won the Champions League.
Yes, exactly. Severally, so it's not a surprise. I think these teams are equal. So it's an okay scoreline. So moving forward, let's see what the Swedish and the US will come up with let's hope that maybe there might be a rematch of or much later in the competition of them maybe meeting the final or something.
Of course, let's see. Maybe the United States of America and Zambia will actually redeem themselves when they play in the next group match in the Olympics as it is right about now. So still talking about the Olympics before we move away from news coming from Tokyo, where the Australian team Brisbane has been given the hosting right to host the 2032 Olympic Games. The hosting right about 11 years ago. So at this point in time, they have 11 years to prepare for the Olympics. Do you see them pulling this off?
I mean, absolutely. The Sydney Olympics was, one of the best ever Olympics games in terms of, the preparations,
Just to cut you short, the Olympics will actually return to Australia 32 years
after. So it was a properly organized Olympic game. Sydney, I mean, a lot of memories from that Olympic game. So I mean, learning from that experience the Australians have already in organizing such an event. I mean, and the Sydney Olympics was like the second time the Australians were hosting, and going to Brisbane once again will be third time. So they are properly experienced in the area of hosting this sort of events as huge as the Olympics. So I expect them to still pull off another exciting show once again in 2032.
Okay, just to let you know that Paris will actually host the 2024 edition, and also the Los Angeles in the United States will host the 2028 edition before the Australian city get to host the 2032 edition of the Olympic Games. So moving away from the Olympic Games, we head straight from the news coming from the Glass House, talking about the Nigerian Football Federation saying they are going to unmask the fellow who harassed a fellow actually harassed verbally attack the Super Falcons team as they were actually going to that training ground. We know that they're actually preparing for the Six Nation tournament, which will be hosted in Lagos at the end of this month, hopefully. But at this point in time, the NFF are coming out to say they're going to unmask the fellow. But my question is, they were on the train and were they supposed to be on the train? Were they not supposed to have like their own private means of transportation and also having a good number of security?
And not really in the area of them having their own train. You know how in the Western world this thing works, you easily see even top government officials using public transport and all that. And reports reaching us actually say that they were just, they were just on a sightseeing kind of thing, they had finished training. I mean, they just wanted to take the opportunity to just look around the city, have a feel of the city, and enter the train. And an unidentified man was also on that train with them, who actually verbally assaulted them, calling them names, talking about their country and their government, actually questioning why they should even be representing Nigeria, and said a lot of things. And, the girls felt offended, and the NFF, has promised to reveal the identity of this fellow. And if that is done, I mean, he should be, reported to the right authorities over there in Austria.
Of course, he should be reported to the appropriate authority in Russia. We know that the lives of South Africa, the lives of Ghana will be actually be coming to Nigeria for the Sixth Nation tournament in Lagos, starting from 1st to 5th of September in that particular one. Okay, we move straight to our next story. We go straight from the news coming from the 2021 National Youth Games, where Port Harcourt are set to host the South-South Zonal Elimination Tournament. We know that Port Harcourt, the capital city of Rivers State, will host the South-South Zonal Elimination Tournament ahead of the Youth Games scheduled for Ilorin, Kwara State from later this year. But as it is now, the elimination zone will start from the 1st of September through to the 5th of September, and we're expected to see a team from the South zone, team from which include football, basketball, cricket, handball, beach volleyball, hockey, and volleyball. They are suspected to actually hit the city of Port Harcourt. This game is just for the underage grade, 15 years game, which will serve as a grassroots development game, so that for us to be able to harvest young talent, so that other sports federation will actually get to nurture them to start them. But what do you take of it? Do you think you should have more of the national youth game at different levels when it comes to states also getting to host their own youth games?
I mean, absolutely. Sports is actually grassroots. That's why the idea of catch them young. So this is where this whole thing is coming from, and I think this is really a good one. Coming from the sports ministry, we need more of such games where we can be able to identify talents at the grassroots, and from then nurture them up till they get to the stage of maturity where we can see them going for games like the Olympics. And we hope that this kind of competitions, more of it will be spread across all the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, so that from each zone we'll be able to harness and nurture talent who actually represent Nigeria. And let's hope that in another 4 years we'll see the start reaping the fruits of this kind of talent hunt competition or grassroots competitions.
Of course, in the next 4 years to 5 years thereabout, we start reaping the benefit from the youth competition. But for now, we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, there's a whole lot of sports mouth-watering stories await you. Don't go nowhere.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Okay, welcome back from that short break as we bring you all the latest sport news around the world of sport. I'm not on the show today alone. I'm here with Alpha, where we are also dissecting all the fresh news coming from the world of sport. Right about now, we go straight to the news coming from the NBA, where a Nigerian-born player has ensured that his team getting to win their first NBA title since 1971 in that particular one. He actually scored 50 points to Power Bulldogs win for them to win the first NBA title. What will you make of this guy who is actually firing from all cylinders? He has been voted the MVP for the NBA for 2 consecutive seasons at this point in time.
I mean, very wonderful coming from the young one, and for the fact that he has Nigerian roots, makes it all the, makes it even more better. Watching I actually followed the NBA finals since from the playoffs from the Eastern Conference. I saw how they took out the Brooklyn Nets in the Eastern Conference to emerge champions of the Eastern Conference, and in all of these matches, Giannis was always the player to watch, scoring an average of 40 points in each of these games. And for him to finally emerge as an NBA champion is really, really nice, because he was just by the Bucks just this season, this season of the NBA finals, and Nobody really thought that the Milwaukee Bucks were going to get to the finals and eventually become NBA champions, because there are teams like the Lakers, the Clippers, who had teams that in basketball are called super teams. But these teams all fell off by the wayside. But Giannis was able to power the Milwaukee Bucks to the first NBA title since 1971. I must congratulate the young man on this achievement and on his achievement on being named the MVP of the NBA finals. Good one for him.
Do you think the Tigers will be actually be missing him? Talking about the Tigers, we would actually be missing him at the Olympics, because we know that he will represent Greece.
He has never played for the Tigers, first of all, and he never signified of playing for the Tigers. Yes, Nigerian born. He has always identified as a Greek man. I mean, his nickname is the Greek Freak. So he is known as the Greek man. So I think he will be up there wearing the colors of the Greece, in the Olympics. Well, he's Nigerian at heart. I only wish he was. He made up his mind to, like some of our other NBA stars, to don the shirt of the green of Nigeria and actually represent the Tigers at the Olympics. But good one for him. I mean, he's still a Nigerian, and I'm sure that a lot of upcoming Nigerian basketball players will look up to him as a good example to follow.
So sadly, 3 of them brothers are not actually representing Nigeria. They're actually flying that trade for Greece. Just so sad. I wish that we have those guys playing for Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Very, very interesting.
Yes, I mean, in this kind of situation, you need all of your best players, wherever they come from, as long as they have Nigerian roots and are eligible to play for the country. We need this kind of players, playing for us. I mean, it would have given us, made us a more solid team. But whichever way to go, I still think the Tigers, as it is right now, still have a solid team. And even without Giannis, I'm sure the Tigers will still do the nation proud at the Tokyo Olympics.
Of course, the Tigers will actually do the nation proud at the start of the Olympics. This is actually coming up from Alpha. I hope also for them to actually do the nation proud at the start of the Tokyo Olympic Games. We move away from the dunking and slamming game. We're straight to the round leather game, where Victor Osimhen will excel under new Napoli manager. This is coming from Joseph Dosun. Do you actually think that Osimhen will actually excel under new manager, because we know that it was a certain man, General Gattuso, who actually brought him back to the Napoli side. But as it stands now, General Gattuso is not in Napoli, and there's a certain new manager on the game of affairs as it is now. Do you if Victor Osimhen more playing time for him to be able to bang in goals?
No doubt about that. I mean, Victor Osimhen, is their biggest player, right now on current form. Yes, he was brought in by General Gattuso, but it's a good thing to see that the new coach, Luciano Spalletti, has come in and is actually putting a lot of confidence in the young. I mean, Osimhen has been fantastic so far in the preseason, and
he actually scored
four goals. Yes, in their 12-0. Yes, whitewash of I can't remember the name of that team. But those are good signs that he will excel. I mean, the coach is giving him a lot of playing time, and I really think that under the new coach he will excel, because the coach has shown that this is the man who I want as my point man as soon as the Serie A returns. So good one for the young man, and it's a good one.
But what will be your message for Victor Osimhen ahead of the start of the season? Because we know that you are as good as your last performance.
Yeah.
If you don't get to work very hard in trainings and don't get to put all your best in games, if you have been called upon to actually play, they will not actually get another chance for you to be able to prove yourself. But at this point in time, what would be your message for Osimhen, and not just Osimhen, the rest of Nigerian players who are actually flying that trade at the start of the next season?
I mean, my message to him is for him to keep working hard, try as much as possible to stay fit. For last season, he had some injury problems here and there, and that really slowed down, his progress. But I really hope that this season he will stay fit, continue to work hard like he's always been doing, and he has the support of his teammates. And as long as he and his teammates continue to play together as a team, and get the support of his teammates, I'm sure that he will even do better than he did last season.
Of course, Usome is set to do better from what he actually did in last season. This is actually not coming from Alpha. I just want to wish him all the best. We'll actually keep a tab on Victor Oseme from all the action coming from Syria, and we will let you know how things pans out for the Nigerian number one striker as it is right.
Yeah, he's number one striker, no doubt about that.
Of course, we'll move straight to the next one. News coming from the rest that is talking about the Liverpool camp right about now, where Sheyi Ojo, Liverpool winger Sheyi Ojo, is reported on the radar of Bundesliga side Bayern Leverkusen. At this point in time, they are jostling for his signature for them to actually lure him to the German side. But at this point in time, he has not been playing regularly for Liverpool. Do you think this is the best time for him to take a move from England to Germany?
I mean, good one if you ask me. Yesterday we spoke about Taiwo Awoniyi, almost similar situation, signed for Liverpool about 5 years ago, but hasn't been able to play any competitive game for Liverpool. Same for Sheyi Ojo. He has been in the Liverpool setup for a while, for over 3 years now, but he is yet to play, exactly, taste action. So if clubs like this, like Leverkusen, which is no small club in Europe, are coming for his services, I mean, it will do the young man's career a whole lot more. Because one thing he can be assured of is playing time. Like I keep saying, when you're coming up in your career as a young player, what you need most of the time is playing time.
Where you can express yourself.
Yes, because the more you play, the more you boost your confidence, the more other clubs are able to watch you. So I think if the move to Leverkusen comes, through, that would be really nice for Guzman. At least, whatever it is, he should be able to see enough of action, in the Bundesliga.
Of course, he should be able to see a whole lot of action in the Bundesliga. He's expected, to join Bayern Leverkusen, and hopefully he will be competing against the player of Taiwo Awoniyi, who just joined Union Berlin yesterday in that particular league. So we wish him all the best. If he can be able to make a move, that would be actually good for his career. Still talking about transfer news, where Chelsea is ready to sanction Abraham loan move to Arsenal. At this point in time, Chelsea are reported ready to offer Tammy Abraham to London rivals. That is talking about Arsenal. Forget about the Arsenal jersey. It's just a jersey. There's nothing actually not to go for it. But at this point in time, Tammy Abraham is a Champions League winner, and they are set to let him go to the Emirates Stadium on a loan deal. Do you actually want him to move away? Because we saw him, he didn't actually make up the team list for the Euro 2020, and at this point in time, he has not been regular for a certain Chelsea after the arrival of Timo Werner at the Stamford Bridge. But at this point in time, will you advise him to move to Arsenal, where he has a likes of a competition like looking at Alex Lacazette, looking at Abun Mayan in that makeup? Will he be able to break in the Arsenal striking force?
I mean, for Abraham, I think this is a good move for him, because under Lampard, he played quite a couple of matches and scored a couple of goals. I mean, at a point, he was like one of their best players in Lampard's, first season, but with the likes of Timo Werner coming in, even though he wasn't able to score a lot of goals, but the new Chelsea manager, Thomas Tuchel, hasn't really shown much confidence in him, so. But I think Mikel Arteta wants him, and for the fact that he wants him, I think he
actually played well under Lampard.
Yes, he did. That's the point I was making, but it's one thing to play under a coach and a new coach comes and he doesn't repose much of that confidence, because if the coach was even confident in him, Chelsea won't be in the market currently looking for another striker. They could have wanted to use, some of the firepower they have, on the reserve bench. But since Chelsea are in the market for another striker, it simply means that, he doesn't really have a starting place in Chelsea. So I think the loan move to Arsenal should be a good one at this point. And I understand, is with the option to buy if it does well. And I believe if Tammy Abraham, does well at Arsenal, he could be able to, make his move to Arsenal permanent.
Of course, I think he will actually do well in Arsenal because I know the Arsenal player always want to give their strikers the ball for them to finish up. He's very good when it comes to the arena ball.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to the footwork, also he's actually
he's a decent player.
He will actually do
Decent.
well if he can able to to actually complete that low move to Arsenal in that particular one. But before we go, we quickly tell you that yes, Anthony Joshua will set to defend his heavyweight 5 title at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London come September 25th. Do you see him retaining his 5th title before we end the show today?
Going by, let's say on paper,
yes,
he should retain his title. His opponent shouldn't be a match for him. But, like they say, there are always upsets in sports, But I think Joshua should be able to retain his title and look forward to fighting the winner between the Fury and Wilder bout, and to eventually unify all the belts in the heavyweight division. So good one for him, and I hope he actually defends his title.
All the best to our own Anthony Joshua. Come September 25th, right there at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Also, we will want to actually put this up, but it will be for our next show coming to tomorrow, where we are asking you, does Jorginho deserve to win at the Ballon d'Or of this year? If you want to actually send your comment, you can send your comment on our various social media platform. Go straight to our Facebook account, also our Instagram account, and also our YouTube account. You can actually send your comment there and be hopeful that we are going to read those comments tomorrow when we bring Sport Orbit right here for you. But on this note, I want to thank Alpha for coming on the show today.
Thank you,
Wale. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Always a pleasure.
Today we'll meet, come your way at same time, same station. Do have a lovely day ahead of you. Bye-bye and God bless.
Bye-bye.